Good morning to you, our audience. Ted and Ed TV channel welcome each of you to our weekly Saturday broadcast where we give insightful views on economic, political, world, and environmental issues concerning how money connects those matters. Our hosts, Mr. Ted Harvey Sr. and Mr. Edward Bishop III, are now taking each of you into our world of money and its value, along with the evils that come from the greed of hoarding financial power. He that controls the gold controls the important decisions in this world.
Yeah, man, we are live here on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, and we welcome all of you all to our telecast this morning. And my co-host, Mr. Harvey, says that he doesn't have very much to talk about today, but I don't believe him because there's a lot going on, and we two are very opinionated progressives or close to the center folks out here and everything. So good morning, Ted. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, man. I just celebrated my 44th wedding anniversary with my lovely wife. She's put up with me for 44 years. I don't know how she survived, but she survived.
That's a long time.
to put up with somebody like me, bro? Yes. I'm for real, bro. I'm a strange bird, but I'm appreciative of that. And, my children, of course, all of them wish me and, a lot of relatives, happy anniversary. However, some good things happen, Papa daycare is over. My daughter-in-law graduated from nursing school and all the good things are happening, and next weekend we're going to be going up to ATL to celebrate my brother's birthday and his wife's birthday and anniversary, all of that. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's so many things that's going on, man, as far as family-wise. But the thing what concerns me, Ed, is really when you think about it, everybody's life is really trying to be happy or try to enjoy their life. But there's so much stuff that's going on around us in the government arena, the political arena, that you almost cannot enjoy life. If you didn't believe in God and if you didn't believe in having a good time or enjoying life, you can be depressed because it's almost like this country is being taken over, man. I mean, at first, you can see that, you can sort of kind of like different parts of it can fight for this and fight for that and do this to make it better. But it's almost like it's being torn apart. Now, that's just my opinion. It seems like it's being torn apart. All the stable mechanisms are being sort of kind of shut down. Shut up, don't say nothing, or we got to do this, we got to do that. And our commander-in-chief is telling us to do this and do that. Where's the equal justice? Where is the justice? Where is the, I don't know, I mean, the fairness and really the real America that I have known to grow to love, where people, good people were about doing the right things and basically, being nice, being courteous, being friendly. Where is that at now, man? I mean, you see it in pockets, in my arena, people I'm around, it's nice and wonderful to a certain degree, but at the same time, it's so much chaos, Ed. I don't know, man. We got a whole lot of stuff going on, bro. A lot of stuff. And I can name you about a dozen things we can talk about. But it's on you, bro.
Okay. I got quite a few things and stuff that I want to get off my chest. You brought up some more things and stuff this last little segment that you just talked about. But to get back to that first question that you asked me before we came on air about what's going on with 45 and how he has created a really disaster and stuff for him, for our country first, and then himself, and then his family and everybody else around him, and how all of his cohorts and stuff doing all the bad things and stuff for him, and the fact that he had these people and stuff in his corner and stuff for a while. I remember that Michael Cohen and stuff when they first started going on and say, "Yes, I give my life for this man."
Mm.
But now he's turned against him really bad. He made a real quick turn and stuff on him and everything, and he's created uh, sort of a kind of a avenue, I guess, into Trump's dealings out there and all of the illegal and bad things he's done with this, uh, election felony that's going on and stuff now, paying off those young ladies and stuff for sexual favors and stuff and everything because he didn't want the American people to understand, to know who he was, and to see them turn against him, to see his National Enquirer executive and everything open up a trove of bad stuff that Trump and his family and stuff has done. To see Michael Cohen and stuff plead guilty and doing the process of him giving his point of view of why he decided to plead guilty and stuff in this case, and to not add his name per se, but everybody knows that the person won and stuff is Donald Trump, but they're not saying anything. And to see how a lot of people and stuff out there, and you said there are a lot of white people out there, people, Caucasian folks who actually voted for him, who still think very highly of him and everything, but they are questionable and stuff as to who he is and what the heck's going on and stuff with him. And there is a plethora of stuff going on out there, and I believe that this is just whatever went on this week. It's it's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better and stuff for him. I think the legal process and stuff is closing in around him, including your state and your local governments and stuff and everything, where a lot of his property and his holdings and stuff are at. And they are getting ready to come down really, really hard on him. And hopefully that process continues to go on and that nobody starts being paid off to kind of soften his blow and stuff out there. But anyway, uh, we uh, we still have to realize and stuff that there's a lot of legal stuff going on and stuff with him, and I believe that he thinks that he is going to get off of this stuff. I really believe, looking at him, I think he thinks he's going to get off. I think he believes that he is going to be able to get through this mess without being hurt too bad. And the reason why I say that and stuff now is because of what I hear from the people in Congress. Those are the ones and stuff who have been in charge of making sure that the executive branch and the legislative branch and the judicial branch of our government and stuff and everything, uh, is divided up equal. There's a balance of power there. And when you have illegal stuff going on in the executive branch of the government and the legislative branch of the government is, I don't want to say complicit, but they almost are, because none of them are doing anything about it from what we are seeing. The judicial proportion and stuff, the Congress, their committee and everything, they still having meetings and stuff on Hillary Clinton's email. When I heard that, man, it just floored me and everything with what's going on. That these people, GOP folks and stuff there in the Congress are still protecting him. And then you hear you expecting to hear the Senate and stuff to where if he is impeached and stuff, the trial has to be done by the Senate. Now, the House and stuff are the ones who bring forth the indictment and stuff to impeach, but the Senate is the one that actually holds the is the court and everything to do the impeachment and stuff of Trump if or when this may happen. So if you've got people and stuff there in the Senate who are still um, holding on to him and not really coming forth and everything and saying, hey, uh, yes, this guy has done something real, real bad. We're going to have, they're not even saying we're going to have to look into this stuff. All they're saying is that, oh, well, he needs another Jeff Sessions. They throwing him under the bus now. We're gonna have to get him. Whereas before, last year or whatever, most of his Senate colleagues were all for him. And if he tried to fire him or do anything and stuff against him, then it's going to be a bad day for Trump. But now it's okay for him to do that. And those things and stuff and everything are kind of like a chink in that armitage of being able to uh, hold down his president. And when you have that stuff going on there in the Congress and stuff, it empowers him to do that. So if you want, or if this country wants to take him down and to put somebody and stuff there in office and stuff who's going to bring us out of this whole mess and everything, it's going to be, it's going to take what's going on now. It's not going to happen and stuff like it is. So I'm thinking that since the judicial branch and stuff and everything, the federal branch and the state branches of judicial government and everything, and the local and Manhattan district, courts and stuff and everything are going to probably have to be the ones and stuff who are going to lead this fight and stuff and everything to get this guy indicted, do something and everything and stuff for him, and to, in the meantime, embarrass the people there in the Congress and everything to do their job. And until that happens, he's going to still be in office.
Yeah. And I was listening to an interview yesterday, and I apologize, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he's written a number of books. He's very astute politically. He's a war journalist, and he's also a political journalist, and his name will come to me in a minute. But he made a statement about all of this, what's going on. We know that the corporate world owns the radio, TV stations, and all of that. And they're reporting on all of this like it's a sitcom or a, gossip to keep the eyeballs and ears on all of this stuff, which he says is not that important. Trump is not the problem. He's a symptom of the problem, but he's not the problem. The problem is that through the years, they have dumped on a lot of Americans and destroyed their lives in the last 30 years or more. And it started off with it started off with Reagan, but then at the same time, he really put a lot of onus on Clinton because of the, and this is something that the Republicans had agreed to anyway, because George W. Bush, George H. Bush, the first Bush president, they were doing, when they did this TransUnion thing with Canada and Mexico, it took a lot of jobs from a lot of people at that time and destroyed a lot of people.
You're talking about NAFTA.
NAFTA, not the TransUnion. Well, that's another story. But anyway, NAFTA really put a lot of people in a bad shape. And that's when jobs start shipping, to Mexico, corporations and all of that, and they start building up in certain parts of Mexico. And he also blamed, a lot of things that he did, the 3 strikes you're out, getting rid of, trying to eliminate welfare, as they used to call it. And and he really hurted a lot of Americans because that was a social net, that was really helping people. The cutting of Social Security, the cutting of Medicare, because, I think, I touched on it a little bit last week talking about Democrat socialists. And a lot of people in this country don't realize that capitalism, as we know it, is dead in a way, because it's who's running this now is the oligarchs. And you mentioned this, a lot of these people, when they got all that money back from overseas and brought it over here and everything, all they did was put it in their shares. And then who gets that money is those CEOs and all those officers. They buoyed up their pockets, and brought that money in and gave all these people these raises and what have you. And that money went to the top 3, maybe 10%. People that's out there making big money. The small guy, the average American whose household income is less than $75,000, those people, they might have got a little change, a little pocket change, whatever, but they didn't get any big major tax breaks. They didn't get any major raises. They might have got $1,000 or something like that, as a bonus. But we're talking millions and billions of dollars that was distributed to these 1%ers, these big time billionaires. So a lot of people are disgruntled. I don't know if you read the article or been reading the articles about the 1-year anniversary of Harvey. And I've been searching for articles and articles, looking for what's going on with Harvey in Houston, where it really devastated a lot of portion of Houston. And there are so many people, man, that are homeless, lost their homes and what have you. Even here in South Florida, a lot of places were devastated and never recovered. So our eyes and ears are listening to the political arena, a lot of us, but there are a lot of people that are suffering and you hear nothing about it. The president doesn't, 45, he doesn't even address it. The Puerto Rico, he doesn't address Houston. You didn't even hear him say anything about Hawaii. And they just went through a little something, potentially. So, our president, I'm talking about the president of the United States, in my opinion, is supposed to be on watch and let the people know that the people care about them. We are the people. We can't speak for every person that's in every city or every state that when they get devastation, but our president can. And he's supposed to speak for us. He's supposed to let us know that, hey, if something catastrophic happens to your community, we're there for you. I'm not hearing that, bro. I'm not hearing it. I mean, they don't even let the underlings even talk about it, So I think that's what's going on right now. People are not, there are people right now that's living large. I mean, they're living good. They're enjoying life. They make big money and what have you. and cause no devastation has happened to them. And then even if something does happen to them, they got so much money in the bank, they can recover. But there are so many people that has not recovered, bro. And my eyes are on them. That's what my concerns and prayers are.
Well, you have spoken to a lot of things and stuff, Ted. Man, this is big problem. big problem, man. I was writing down notes and stuff while you were talking, and you're absolutely right. I just finished reading an article also about this kind of a subdivision and stuff there in the city of Houston called Bear Creek,
Mm-hmm.
and how there are people and stuff who are there in Bear Creek, and they're still suffering because of some environmental things that had happened. There is a reservoir and stuff there right next to Bear Creek, which was supposed to have been able to hold any huge amounts of water and everything that come, when they got that rain that came in, and Harvey sat there and dropped them 50 inches of rain and stuff in less than 5 days and stuff there. The reservoir overran and it flooded that village and stuff of Bear Creek. Well, a lot of the people and stuff there in that village didn't have flood insurance because they were not in the floodplain.
Mm.
So when it did flood, there were a few people and stuff who had, like we do a lot of times, we do a lot of reading. And if you don't read about some things that are going on and and act upon what you're reading about because you believe what's getting ready to happen, you tend to lose out. And that's what happened with a lot of people there in Bear Creek. There were folks and stuff there who had read an article that it was a possibility and stuff and everything that Bear Creek might fail. But there were some people and stuff there and everything who, because of what had happened, they decided to get flood insurance, and they paid like $450, a year for the flood insurance thing to go for their houses. Well, when they did that, man, they come out smelling like roses because of all that rain that had came through. But there
Mm-hmm.
were a lot of residents and stuff there in that village and stuff and everything who, because they said it wasn't a floodplain, they didn't buy flood insurance. So FEMA came in and gave most of them and stuff $27,000 and say we're done. But it costs a heck of a lot more than that and everything to rebuild their homes and stuff. And a lot of people took the money and ran away like they did when Katrina came. They took the
Yes.
money and just ran.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like you said, there are pockets and stuff there of people who are still having trouble. You look at Puerto Rico, people are still there, Ted, don't have electricity in their homes.
That's right.
And nobody is really dealing with that and everything. You've got a big problem and stuff down in Florida and stuff and everything because there's some either virus or some kind of a
Some
fish
red
or
tide, they
gestation
call
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's being coming in
Can't
on
even go
the
to the
shore.
beaches, bro. Can't even
Yeah,
go to the beaches.
yeah, and nobody's saying anything about it. You've got the fires and stuff in California that
Over
have
100.
destroyed. Oh yeah, have destroyed all kinds of homes there. And like you just said, Hawaii and stuff, they're sitting there and everything. Their governor already declared a state of emergency before the hurricane even came there.
Yep.
And they're being inundated and stuff with it. And you're right. The president hasn't even opened his mouth. He hasn't even dispatched FEMA to go over there and start helping these people or whatever. And most of when, and I know that, yeah, what you said about this guy, he started blaming Clinton and everything and stuff for some bad things happening. Yes, there were some things and stuff that Clinton did that probably affected, a lot of us and everything in some ways, but there were a lot of things that he did and stuff that helped a lot of people also. The same thing and stuff happened with Obama and stuff, they're still He did a lot of things and stuff with climate change, trying to deal with these trade agreements and stuff and everything with the people in the Far East and stuff now. And you see Trump and stuff and everything fighting these people. You see him still fighting NAFTA, Canada, and calling the prime minister they are evil something or whatever, and breaking the Iranian nuclear agreement and everything that was hard fought. Uh, so he is the problem and stuff. And right now, he is the problem because he is not. His thing is dealing with himself. Most of the laws or whatever enacted and stuff and everything were because of him enriching himself, his friends and stuff needing this done, like the coal industry, like climate change and stuff. What's wrong with staying involved in the climate change agreement and stuff that they had and everything? Because there's money to be made there. If you got fossil fuel people and everything who are paying you money and everything, well, you need to tell these fossil fuel people and stuff that hey, you better get with the game and stuff and start changing your way of making money, going into
Converting.
uh yeah, converting and stuff over and everything to it. And you can still make money doing that. You have to change. If you don't change, you are not going to survive. And we
Yeah.
are seeing that, and we are seeing that survival and stuff being destroyed and stuff, and a lot of these companies and stuff who aren't making it. Uh, Look at Sears, man, they about on the brink of bankrupt.
Yeah.
And remember Sears and stuff,
Yes.
Ted, when I was growing up, man, was a huge place and everything. So,
Oh
oh
yeah.
man, everybody had to go to Sears and
Yeah.
get their stuff and everything. But
One
now they
stop
are no
shop. The only
longer.
thing they didn't have it was food. If they would have
Right.
had food, they would have made up. They would have.
They'd have made it up. So, and then you look at Toys R Us, they're falling apart and everything. Well, times have changed, and you have to change with time. And if you don't change, you're going to fall way behind. We saw that and stuff when 2008, and they had the big three automobile makers and stuff and everything. Man, these foreigners and stuff were coming in with these cars and stuff and everything that burn less gas or whatever. They the ones that came in and took over the market. Toyota came in and took over for the
Let's
big
take it
three.
over. Let's take it
Yeah,
over.
yeah, because all the other big three, GM, Ford, and Chrysler, didn't want to change.
Yeah.
So if you're going to survive in this industry, in this world and stuff now, you're going to have to change. There are a lot of things and stuff, Ted, going on out there in the world, and our country and stuff is not changing and stuff to adapt to what's going on out there, because there's a lot of things going on for it, and it starts out from the top. And if Trump want to steal money, which is his thing, you can still steal money and advance people and to make things better and stuff within this country. But the way he's trying to do it is it's a horrible shame. But you find, Ted, that just like you were telling about the guy who said, well, Clinton did this and Clinton did that. The same thing and stuff happened and stuff in 2016 up to the election that happened. There were propaganda and stuff going on in different pockets and stuff of this country who brought forth bad things about Hillary and caused people and stuff to think twice and stuff about going to the polls and everything and stuff and voting for her.
Yep.
And once they did that and they stopped at least 1 or 2, maybe 3% of those folks and stuff not going, that meant that she lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
She lost
And
because of that.
think about this though, Ed. The reason why she lost was what you just said. However, they had put so much negative publicity out on her. It was unreal. And a lot of that stuff is true because, like we know that she was a centralist, what I call a centrist progressive. She was definitely for women's rights. She was somewhat, very, kind of enthusiastic about civil rights and human rights. However, people thought that she was bought and paid for. That's just my opinion, as far as that goes, because she's in cahoots with all the Wall Street people, you know, and she's in cahoots with a lot of the corporations, and her husband, the former president, uh, he was in cahoots. He was out there making millions and millions, I mean hundreds of millions of dollars, and giving speeches and what have you. They're on all kinds of boards. So,
But you have to look at it, and I think that we as voters and we as people and stuff out there, we looked at Donald Trump, and we really did not look at him, seriously look at him, that he was very flawed. And to elect someone that had the
well,
idea that he was going
you
to
could cut that "we" out, because I looked at him real good. And I know this man was going to tear this country up. And you did.
Well, I did too. I knew that he was going to be bad, but I also knew that he had a lot of people in his corner. And when you have people and stuff and everything in his corner, and then there was the dynamics of what led up to the eventually November 8th election and stuff of him to be the president, things came and fell his way, whereas Hillary did not respond to those dynamics and stuff and everything. If you in a campaign, there's ebb and flow, ebb and flow. And if you don't respond to those ebb and flows and everything, you're going to have a problem and stuff, even though you might have been a little bit better of a candidate than Donald Trump is. During those debates and everything, she was aloof to a lot of things, and it seemed like Trump spoke to some of the people out there because,
Well,
like
yeah.
like you said, it was there were a lot of people and stuff out there getting rich. There were a lot of people out there who were doing okay, who were making money or whatever. But there were pockets of many pockets and stuff of people and everything who weren't. They weren't feeling the good parts of what was going on. Their pocketbooks didn't show what was happening and stuff out there in the news media. People doing well, stock market doing well. Those people were doing well, but the other folks out there and stuff who actually are the people and stuff who buy the goods and services and stuff and everything that keep this company going were not doing very well. And she did not speak to that and stuff during those debates and everything, that she understood that there were people out there. She just was aloof to that. It did not dawn on her.
Well, think about it.
And he did.
Think about it. Yeah. Think about what he was cutting up. He was cutting up NAFTA. Get rid of NAFTA, because he understood that NAFTA took away a lot of those small industries that were making money. And TransUnion, he what is it? The TransUnion
TPP, Trans-Pacific Agreement.
Trans-Pacific Union. He dogged that. He dogged the global initiative as far as better quality of air and everything. So he was tearing all of those things down, where people were saying, "Hey, the people don't, the government don't care about us," and he was telling them, "The government don't care about you, because they didn't took all your jobs. They shipped all your jobs overseas. All the jobs, all the companies are overseas." I read an article a couple of days ago. They were saying manufacturing is coming back to America. The companies are coming back.
Where they at?
They're coming back. They're coming back, all right, but they're gonna come back with that AI, artificial intelligence. They're gonna come back with automation.
But those are jobs, Ted. Those are jobs and stuff, and that's exactly the point that I was trying to make earlier. That yes, there are things and stuff that are good and stuff, but if you don't change for the times, you're going to lose out. You're not going to be able to be competitive and stuff out there, and those extratennial things that are going on now, like Trump has these cabinet people and stuff in there, and you talk about this lady who's he put in charge of the education department.
Ooh,
Her job is to educate, to make sure that the children in this country are ready for 21st century, for global economy. And she's not doing that. The only thing that she's doing and stuff is taking care of the folks and stuff and everything, her rich people and everything, and channeling everything toward the rich folks and not letting
more money off
and
of
take
American
take
tax.
and taking away good schools and stuff and everything for the other folks and stuff out there. So her people and everything probably are going to be educated to the point where they're going to be able to take over. But if your other part of your government or your children and or your economy or the environment and stuff out there is not educated, you're losing out because they are smart people and stuff out there, smart minority kids and stuff out there. You got smart black folks, you got smart Hispanics, you got smart Asians. All those people out there are very smart. But if you don't help to educate them and everything, you're not going to be able to survive and stuff out there. You might have your own people okay, and they're going to be all right, but you're going to have that divide between the rich and the poor is going to be getting wider because your children are not educated. They can't handle what's
Well,
going on.
you mentioned what's her name, Betsy DeVos,
Betsy DeVos, yeah.
and this lady, you know, she has a budget of almost $65 billion, and a lot of that money she's already taken, to my understanding, if I recall correctly, $20 billion set aside for, you know, privatizing education. This is what I wanted to bring up, and this is what I want to discuss. I'm gonna sort of kind of switch gears here for a second. You remember, and I don't know if yeah, you're a history major, so you probably can correct me. You remember Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois, the big conversation with them? I used to read all kind of articles, and back in the day, you know, 40, 50 years ago, and, you know, the difference between these two, one was academia, he was an elitist, you know, W.E. Du Bois, he did all kind of research, and really he was a very smart, intelligent person. He went to a black college, and then he ended up going to a white college, you know, I think it was Harvard or Yale, one of those big time schools, and got another undergrad degree, and then ended up getting his PhD. Booker T. Washington was a regular guy, went to black colleges, got his way into college and what have you. And his big thing was trades, skills. And so they always went back and forth, you know, going academic or going with trade. For whatever reason, neither one of them was wrong. That was my conclusion. One, you know, you got people that are very academic, very smart, very astute. They can write really well. They can do all kinds of things, very good in mathematics and what have you. And that's wonderful. Then you have this Booker T. Washington that was stressing servitude, so to speak, plumbers, carpenters, all kinds of things, hospitality, where black people can really make a living, making money, working for people. You know, he trained people in so many different skill levels, and these jobs were good for black people, and a lot of people had these skills, and so when something broke down, or if they needed something, you know, they taught them how to build homes and all that stuff. So what has happened now? I'm going to bring it to 2018 real quick. You have right now so many people trying to get into college, and they're saying technology, technology, technology. That's true. You should get into that if that's your field of study and that's what you want. You're really interested in this. You enjoy dealing with math and all of this. However, right now, and I'm just telling you from experience, my little research, there are in Hillsborough County right now, there are 3 career development schools. You know, what they do is those people that don't quite make it academically, if they want to go on and get a high school degree and they want a skill, they'll take them to these schools and they can learn cosmetology, they can learn plumbing, carpentry, mechanics, all of this, auto mechanics, all of these types of skills. Well, do you know they realize that they don't take these schools seriously and they don't invest money into these schools to build those programs up? Because right now, how many Black people you know that are plumbers, carpenters, electricians, uh, these skilled type workers that are in demand? There are people, man, making millions and millions of dollars having a plumbing business. Yeah, it's a nasty job in most cases, but the point is, you can make a good living being a plumber, and you can make a good living being electricians. You can make a good living being a carpenter. You can make a good living, you know, building homes. And the point is, a lot of our children are, I wouldn't call it brainwashed. You know, you should be smart. You should be academic. But there are people that are saying, well, they're not smart. No, they might be good with their hands. They might be excellent with their hands. They can do all kinds of things, but they don't emphasize those things in our community. And to me, that is a shame. That is a crime because, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, babe, I don't know if you ever talked to plumbers or you talk to carpenters or whatever, and electricians, man, they make hundreds, they make 100,000. A lot of these people making $100,000 a year, 6 figures. It might not be glamorous, and you wearing your little blue shirt and dark blue pants and all that. You ain't wearing a shirt and tie, but hey, they making a good living, bro. And they know that skill. They learned that skill, and their job might be a little tougher. You got to get out there and you know, all on the, you know, every different kinds of ways. But the point is, I'm just saying, we need to start emphasizing those things too. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna make it my business, and this is something that I'm doing personally. I'm contacting these 3 schools. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell you, this is my game plan. I'm contacting these 3 schools, and I'm gonna say, how come you don't have all of these skills and emphasizing these skills into the high school so that these people that don't want to be in school and want to learn a skill and want a job, a lot of these people, man, you remember when we was coming up, I didn't take part of it, but a lot of y'all did. When, you know, you can go to school for 4 or 5 hours, and then you got a little on the job training to learn how to do different jobs. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
We had that. That was available.
Yeah.
And the same thing can happen when these young kids are working, going to school full time. They learn, actually going to school, taking high school equivalent classes and what have you, but at the same time, they're learning a trade and a skill. And then what they can do is, after 2 o'clock, they got a job and on the job training. Pay them minimum wage, but that's more than what they're getting now. They get out of school at 2 or 3 o'clock now. What do they do? Nothing.
What you were saying, Ted, I'm totally in agreement and stuff with. I really am. I'm totally in agreement with. But I have some reservations and stuff about what you just said, that we are going to need all those things. Matter of fact, you're going to need them and stuff now. But most of your people and stuff who are dealing into carpentry and stuff and everything, they have certain things that they have to have, and that's, you got to be able to be good in math. So, you know, we need to work on those schools and stuff and deal in math. But if you don't have the resources and stuff in public schools to continue to develop those children and stuff and everything who aren't going to be in technological schools, then you're not going to have those plumbers and stuff out there. And like you said, you need to go to those schools and find out what the heck they're doing. Maybe they're already doing it and they're reaching out to the public schools and everything, but the administration in there and the counselors and stuff in there aren't hearing it. They don't care. All the thing that they're concerned with and everything is making sure that their school grades, the kids' grades and stuff stay up, and whether they make it or not, they don't care. Because as you know, when we were growing up, the same thing was going on. I didn't have no idea when I was a junior in high school and stuff and everything that I was going to be going off to college. My counselors and stuff didn't tell me anything about going off. All they were saying and stuff, well, you're gonna get a job. When you soon you get out, you're gonna go to get a job. You're gonna go to General Foods or A.O. Smith's or Roper's over there and be in that factory and stuff and everything and work there. And that's all they were telling us. It wasn't getting us prepared to go off to college and stuff, making sure that we had
Taking
those
college
courses, right?
preparatory
Those
courses, all
college
that.
prep courses and stuff that we needed to have a foreign language that we had to have and stuff and everything to get off into those schools, making and concentrating on our testing for college, the ACT and the SAT, which was the ACT during our times was the big thing. The SAT was kind of like secondary, but now it's changed around now. But we never had that, and we still seeing that happen and stuff now in these schools and stuff and everything that your people and stuff there who are running these public schools, who are the administrators, who are the superintendents, who are the principals and everything, they should be preparing their children for whatever they need to do to become progressive citizens and stuff out there, people who are going to be profitable or whatever. And if you don't have that initiative and stuff within your school, I don't care what kind of trade schools you got out there. You got 3 there in Hillsborough County. If those public schools and everything aren't hearing it and they aren't reaching out to the community and stuff to help these children and everything to survive, to be able to make it out there in the world, we got a problem.
Yep, absolutely. And I don't know. I want to sort of kind of change that dynamic as far as, because Betsy DeVos is taking so much money out of education. And
well, she's not taking it out of education. She's moving it into into the charter schools.
Public education.
Charter schools. She's taking it from the public schools and putting it into the charter schools. And she's not. And even if you go back, there was an interview and stuff done on one of these radio programs with Obama's Secretary of State, and they were beating him up and everything a little bit about charter schools. And he said there's nothing wrong with charter schools because they're almost like public schools. But
they're not accountable.
But well, they are in a way accountable and everything and stuff to what's going on out there. But what happened and stuff and everything is that the monies and stuff that they are getting and stuff is going into private pockets. Right. And it doesn't mean the charter schools might be okay and stuff, but the private people and stuff out there are making huge amounts of dollars and stuff out there for it. It's almost like having these private prisons and stuff that's going on now. These private prisons and stuff, their thing is to make money for their people and stuff who are investing and stuff into them. So they're cutting back on resources that need to go to the prisons and everything and to the inmates who are being housed and stuff in there to be able to take care of them. But their thing is to make money. And that's the same thing with the charter school. Their thing is to make money. They are private entities and they are not accountable but to their stockholders. So
think about this though, Ed, all of that we already know. And the thing is that when you think about, and there's no outcry by this, because, and you hear people say this, if you have early child development, I'm talking about from 3 till they get into high school or 2 years old, and they go through all this child development, then they get in kindergarten at 5 years old and all of that. So the thing is that if you're training those kids all the way up And then after that, you have after school. So those kids will be in school from 6 to 6, or maybe even 6 to 7, depending on what time the parents work. So if you have two parents that are working, and if you're giving them basically free education, by the time they go to work 5 days a week, that's a lot of pressure off of those kids. And so the parents right now are struggling because what happens? They have to take their kids to daycare. Daycare now, man, is like, it can be anywhere between, depending on, where you go, but $400-500 a month to $1,000 to $1,500 a month. So that's a lot out of people's pocket. And these people are trying to, keep a roof over their head, food in their pantry, pay their bills, and what have you. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to democratic socialism. You're helping these kids, you're helping these parents, and you're training these kids. There are professionals right there that's supposed to help these kids develop their minds and their bodies and their, and everything as far as that goes is in helping the parents. And right now, and for the most part, if you can't afford it, that's what's hurting a lot of the families right now.
And it's this is not a central issue and stuff, Ted. This is an issue and stuff that happens only in pockets and stuff of this country and stuff. And
Yeah.
speak of that and everything, and nobody because in the area where I live in, most of these parents and stuff, they drop their kids off at school. They don't even need a bus, and we have a bus that's in this area, and you look at the
Probably
bus, man, there might be 10 kids on the bus, and the bus holds like 60 kids. And there are 10 kids on the bus, and you got a bus sitting out there and everything, going around and pick these daggone kids up and everything, and the parents just taking their kids to school.
Yeah.
So, some areas and stuff, that's why in you can't centralize ideas and stuff and everything in there. You need your local school councils and stuff and everything to determine the resources that you need, because those buses, the monies that you're spending on those buses and everything can go to another area and stuff, and they can have the buses and stuff there, or you can cut out the buses in this area over here and say, because the parents are going to be taking their children to school, and put that money and stuff into those other schools and stuff and everything who need that. But nobody and stuff is doing that. It is not.
And then not only that,
This
you
is
get a
not
minibus and say, okay, we only got
right.
we
And
only
that
got
bus then doesn't cost that much to run the bus. If the bus doesn't cost that much, but you also got the entity and stuff out there that these bus companies and everything are out there for a profit. So they're gonna fight against that. Oh, no, we need it, we need that. That's what your contract and stuff says. And when you negotiate
that
a contract with
that's
these
that
people,
privatization.
privatization, but there's nothing that you can do about it, because the school system do not own the buses and stuff like they used to do a long time ago. Some of the schools own their own buses, but now they don't. So you have all these things, that these dynamics and stuff going on, which in the end and stuff puts pressure upon the children and upon the parents and stuff who can't afford to have their children going on, because as the kids and stuff in our area, when the time gets off to go to high school and stuff, most of these kids driving cars to school because their parents can't afford that. Their parents can afford that, but the other parents can't afford that. The other parent cannot afford to do that. So their children need those buses or whatever. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make and stuff in this whole thing is that we can't have a one size fit all. That we have to be very, very diverse and stuff in our thinking, but our goals and stuff should always be the same: to educate our children and stuff to the best possible way that we can educate them, and that you need to reach out and stuff to outside entities. Raising a child and stuff is not the responsibility, the educated child, not the responsibility of the school. It's the responsibility of the community. That's how you get your child and stuff raised up to be able to handle what's going on out there. You need everybody involved in the education because it it's a benefit and stuff to everyone and stuff out there. If these businesses and stuff who need qualified people to come in and take over when their workforce retires, you need to have people come in who are ready to go, whether that's into your electrical businesses, whether that's in your plumbing business, whether that's in your carpentry business, whether that's into your roofing people and stuff or whatever. You need qualified people to come in. And if you aren't uh, educating these children and stuff and everything and giving them the resources that they need and everything to go off into these businesses or whatever, you're going to have a lack of people, the manpower to help power your business. So someone needs to be able to speak to all those things or whatever. And if you find out that your people and stuff on top aren't speaking to those local issues and everything, then you tend to lose out on their visions or whatever. Because everybody thought that, well, if Trump gonna have his cabinet, people are gonna be all billionaires or whatever, that they're not gonna be sitting out there
Trying to get more money.
trying to get more money because they don't need it. They're already rich. But there was a fault and stuff in there because they're trying to enrich their friends to keep money and stuff in their pockets. So there's greed and stuff still going on and stuff, that even though a lot of the voters and stuff thought, wow, yeah, Trump can bring on the best people. Well, we find out that the best people are crooks just like him.
Yep.
So we are not gaining anything at all. And no one saw that coming. Now they're seeing it happen and everything. So
And he's doling out, really, to be honest with you, he's doling out that money as far as any time that he can see a little inkling, he's going to pick some people that can handle that money where they can help their friends. And these are all this is federal money, taxpayer money that they're doling out, like you just said, to their friends. And just like right now, in the case of all of these immigrants that's coming over here, undocumented people that's coming over here, they doled out that money to their friends to open up these daycares or whatever you want to call them, prisons or cages and all that. Who's getting that money? You know, I read an article when they first started doing all this, man. One guy paid himself over $1 million and paid his wife over $300,000. Taxpayer money.
They're taking care of their family, nepotism, just like Trump does. He takes care of his family. They all have that same mentality as he does. When you hire somebody as a president of the United States and everything, and that's how his thinking and stuff is, then that thinking and stuff goes all the way down to the people and stuff below him. You have the same thinking, we're going to enrich all of our folks and everything. And if a little bit of benefit and stuff falls down to those people and stuff who are way down there, then it's okay. But we're going to have to enrich ourselves and stuff first. And whatever happens below that, they have to go for themselves. So
yeah.
That's our
That's
country.
been going on for a long time, because
Right, and that's our country.
all of these, when they had Katrina, whatever happened to all those millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that they raised that the American people supposed to have sent out? Did you ever hear a report on that?
Ted, that money is in somebody's pocket right now. It's gone. It's been spent.
I forgot. Man, where is the reporting on that? Where is the reporting on
They're not going to report. They're not going to report. It's not going to happen.
What about the report on the African, when they had the big AIDS scare? Have anybody had a same report where that money went?
Well, you have to consider and stuff, Ted, that in Africa you have dictators, and most of them dictators they're going to enrich their coffers and stuff before their people get anything at all, and that's their thing. They're going to put the money into their dictator's pocket, and then whenever he gets deposed or dethroned or whatever, he just runs away to another country where his money is stored at and lives like a king continually. So he doesn't care about his
But
people.
that's
He
been sort
can't
of
make
kind
it. They can't make it. But
you
that's
know,
what that's the world that we live in and stuff now, Ted. And that's how things are. And if you aren't aware of what the heck's going on, then I guess you're in trouble because Ted, no matter what goes on wrong there, and we see what's happening and stuff here in our country and stuff and everything, most of the folks and stuff out there, they hear a little bit about the bad things that's going on, but they're spending 90 some percent of their time, Ted, trying to live, trying to put money in their pockets. So they don't have time to be able to figure out what the heck to do because they spend their if they ever do get home and stuff to take care of their children because they're taking care of themselves, they there's no time for them to be able to take care of all those things outside their homes. It's almost impossible for them to do that. And if nobody else is outside is looking out for them, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a representative that's going off to Congress and stuff, and he's not taking care. He or she is not taking care of your needs. And we see right now coming up in this midterm election and everything, you got all these people who are sitting out there. Well, I'm going to take it because he or she is not doing what they're doing. So we're going to vote them out of office. Well, what makes us think that when they get in office, that they aren't going to do the same thing?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But think about this though. What I was thinking about when you were talking. You have your state, local representatives, national representatives, federal, all of that. But then you have all of these pockets of nonprofit organizations that's supposed to be doing good. And a lot of them are, don't get me wrong. But the point is that they are getting, some of them might be getting grants. They might be getting some type of funding or people are supporting them financially. And they have a budget that they have to work with, and they're out there doing small pockets of good work. But at the same time, those people that are working in those nonprofits, they have to have they have presidents, CFOs, all of this kind of salaries that they got to meet, and they got to have representatives and workers that's going out there. A lot of these people on salaries. So every year, if their budget is let's say $10 million, half of that money is going on salaries.
Half? Wait a minute, Ted. Half? Shoot, 75%, my brother. Administrative costs, 75%. So 25% may filter down to the people and stuff who need it.
Who they supposed to serve?
Yeah, who they're supposed to serve. So that's the nature of what's going on out there. That whenever you find people who are going to be in charge, they're going to protect themselves, and they're doing the same thing that our president and stuff is doing. He's got a terrible organizations out there now that's being investigated because he used them to pay off his prostitutes that he had out there. So yes.
So the thing is what we're sort of kind of in a side way is that you have all of these do-gooders and supposed to be do-gooders, but really all they're doing is enhancing themselves. Because if you're bringing in $10 million every year, hey, I'm gonna get at least 20% of that money and put it in my pocket if I'm the director. I'm gonna get $200,000 or whatever, 150, and then I'll pay my chief financial officer to do the books, and he hire a few accountants and bookkeepers, and then he'll get a 75,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
So
and that thing is not only going on with the charitable organizations; it's going on in the political parties and stuff now.
Absolutely.
You see what's going on with your representative over there in Canada, old Duncan Hunter. he raping his
California.
he raping his thing, and now he done turn around and blame his wife. He said my wife did it. I don't know nothing about it. He done threw her under the bus now.
And then the thing about it was only $250,000.
Yeah, he threw her under the bus quick, man. I didn't do
$250,000.
nothing. I didn't do nothing. My wife did it.
Oh, and they talk about him like a dog. You throw your own wife under the bus.
You throw your own wife under the bus. Go to the court in separate cars and stuff, and have a separate trial and everything because you didn't do nothing. I don't want to go to court with her. She did it.
She wrote all the checks.
Man, this is a mess going on out there.
Greed is real, man. Greed is real. I mean,
very real.
And want to live a certain lifestyle. I guess you wouldn't call it a greed, but it is. People want to live a certain lifestyle. When they want to do things and go places and what have you, hey, they want to have that money available. And so if that money is available that you can use, you're going to use. That's why these people, they misappropriate funds. They do it in churches, they do it in nonprofit organizations, and they do it in the government because they want to live a certain lifestyle. Instead of riding in a regular sedan, they want to ride in a Mercedes.
Absolutely. Or have a chauffeur limousine. Knowing a jet parked in my driveway so I can take off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man, they had a thing on there about these folks and stuff. Now they have companies out there now who specialize in making sure that these rich folks and stuff have their jets and stuff parked in their driveway, and they're making millions of dollars off of that. And these rich billionaires and millionaires and stuff are enjoying it. And we got poor people out there, Ted, that can't even afford to have a house and stuff with a yard and stuff in it. They got it's horrible. It's the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, though, and this is something that I think that I believe in karma, and also I believe in what the Bible says. In all things, be content. Be content of what you have and be grateful for what you have. But at the same time, when you do good for whatever thing that you can do that's do good, then good things will happen to you. That's what I really believe. So you do the best you can with what you got and be content, but you always strive for more each and every day. What I mean is you try to get that promotion, you try to improve yourself to be a better skilled person or whatever profession you're in, and then you just believe God that you're going to be promoted, or if you got your own business, you believe God that that's going to be successful. But and then you do good. But when these people are doing things that are underhanded, or they know what they're doing is wrong, you're going to pay yourself $200,000 a year when you know you should only be making way less than that, then things don't come out quite right. It doesn't. I mean, that's a proven fact. That's just a proven fact. So that's why, in your patience possess ye your soul. And so just wait patiently and you see they're just going down, those wings, they throw like a Green Bay tree. They going down, bro. All of these billionaires and millionaires that's being selfish. Now, there's a lot of good people that's making good money, fair money, and they doing good with their money. And so therefore, they didn't get it underhandedly. But there's so many of them out there, they don't realize it. And then the stuff goes as generation curse. It might not even hit them, but it might hit their children and their children's children.
Now, Ted,
there's a real God out there, bro. There is a real God out there.
When we started out this telecast, we said, man, I don't have a whole lot to talk about. Now, we are already over our telecast right now, so I don't want to hear you tell me that again. We don't have nothing to talk about.
And, I got about 20 more things I can talk about, but that's
Absolutely,
all
man.
right.
I got a list down here too, man. Oh man, it is deep. So
But
we do
God
have a
bless
lot of
them.
stuff to talk
Hey,
about.
I ain't
I,
jealous at them. That's all I want to say. I'm not jealous at them. They can have their little yachts and they can have their little private jets and do this and do that. However, hey,
give something back to the community. I would like to see that happen. I would like to see all those folks
we're not talking about
that
wings
like,
or hospitals.
yeah, we ain't talking about that. We talking about give something back to the community, adopt a community, adopt a neighborhood, and say, okay, I'm going to adopt this neighborhood, and in this neighborhood, a poor neighborhood, I'm going to make sure that everything is going well and stuff for them. It's
Absolutely.
not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt your pocketbook because your money is coming in. And the perfect example of that. Yeah, the perfect example of that is Oprah Winfrey. Every time you turn around, she was giving away stuff, and that lady's still a billionaire. Well, she's a two or three billionaire now. So, and she gave away a lot of stuff during the time that she had her Oprah Winfrey show.
LeBron James, man. The thing is that if you got it, if you get it legitimate, like they're making money off it because of their skill, their talent, what have you, and it's legitimate. They ain't getting in any kind of creepy ways like a lot of these people are, and underhanded stuff, buying stocks when they knew stocks it was going down and all that craziness. So, but it's a lot of good billionaires and millionaires out there that's doing the right things. But like you just said, Ed, adopt a community. Get two of your friends that are multimillionaires and adopt the whole city.
Adopt the city and say, hey, we're going to go in there and we're going to help. We're going to use some of our resources. That don't mean you're going to lose your money. You can still be a billionaire. Your money's still coming in every day.
Write it off the taxes,
yeah.
bro.
I saw an email that came in from Bernie Sanders. He was talking about count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, in those 10 seconds, Jeff Bezos has earned enough money, has earned more money that you can make in a year.
I believe it.
In 10 seconds, he made that much money.
Yeah.
So your money's going to come in. There's nothing wrong with, like we said, adopt a community or adopt a city, and it's going to be okay. You're still going to be rich. You're still going to be able to have your jet in your yard, but you can get on your jet and stuff and everything and just sit back and feel relaxed and say, hey, I am doing my part. I'm helping somebody. Somebody I'm helping.
That's a road that, and what happens is it's sort of kind of, if you help that one family or maybe community, how many people that's going to be affected by that? Just by a little money and a little getting engaged and involved.
A little time. Oh, and a lot of times, Ted, it might not be money. It might be sending in a person who has some expertise into getting some things done and everything for your community or whatever. They have some expertise that's going to help you, help that community and stuff and everything to get well. To bring in some other resources or tell them where they can go out and get some grant monies and stuff and everything to help them to build these things up, or to sit down there and everything and do something positive within the community.
It don't make no sense, man. It don't make no sense for people to be running around here homeless and uneducated or unskilled and all. It don't make a sense. It don't make a bit of sense. We are living in the richest country in the world. So it don't make no sense.
Anyway, Mr. Harvey, we at the end of we way past our telecast, man. We done went over about 15 minutes now. We got an hour and 15 minutes on our belt. So anyway, we're going to see you guys and stuff on Wednesday. And me and Mr. Harvey, I'm hoping that after the holidays come up, that we can add at least 2 more days to our telecast here.
Fantastic.
Hey, man, at least 2 more days. So that means we're going to have 4 days on the air instead of just 2. So I'm ready. I don't know about him, but I'm ready.
Hey, I've been ready for 7 days a week. Hey, we can do 6 at least.
Now that Papa Daycare is gone, yeah.
Absolutely.
Talk to you guys later. Have a good morning, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday evening. Bye-bye.
Hey baby, what you trying to do? Spent the night just trying to find you. You the hottest one under the sun, and I'm under your spell. We stuck just like glue. You ain't got the free crib, oh well. You and me can head to the hotel. Whatever we do, just don't tell. I don't need anybody all on my coattail. I feel your energy and I ain't trying to fight it. Your vibe is way too exciting. I know I'm who you wanna ride with. Don't fake it, I know that you like it.
It's more than just emotions. I give you more emotions. All you gotta do is focus. Not what you used to, but you like it. But you like it. Ooh, yeah. I've been out here looking for you. Just something special, man.
Get up on my roller coaster. Get inside my air.